My friends, it is noon Eastern time exactly. Don't do that too often because every now and then there's a certain glitch or a hiccup. But this is absolutely, positively 100%, 100% on time, baby. And I'm so glad to be with you and so glad to be a part of this thing of ours. And I thank you. Thank you for joining us. This might be one of the best shows ever. There is so much stuff happening. And especially I want to get somebody who says, Are you still talking about this Candace thing? I don't know about you, but I swear to you, I get this. I think to myself, do you not recognize what this is? Do you not? Well, we're gonna help because I've got clips, I've got Theo Vaughn, I've got this KBJ, this Katanji Brown Jackson, who is Lara Trump, who I think is just Lara, honey. I think you're great at what you do, but that dog don't hunt. That dog don't hunt. We have a Mel Gibson piece. Mel Gibson is so fantastic. Mel Gibson is very, very relevant today. And a guy, this Chinese predictive historian type, who has a take on Candace that is incredible, and a woman who, again, one of these deep divers who does a VIN number check on the car that Charlie was driving in. And it's one of these things that absolutely, positively is mind-boggling. And it goes to show you how many great people are here and how many people are paying attention to what is happening. So get ready, buckle up, my friends. We're going to have more fun than a tick on a horse's dick. I'll tell you what, we are going to knock their dick in the dirt today. And I think I've been using enough phallic references for a week. But before we begin, I'm telling you, and you're proving it because everybody knows, if we ever had to leave, do we have something that has pet food, pet medications, my medications, numbers, water? It's called a bug out bag. Chargers and what do we need? Where do we even go? I'm glad you bring this up. I'm glad you bring this up because it is 100% critical that we go through this. And listen carefully. This is not a joke. This is not just one of these doom and gloom type of negative prescience. I'm not auguring the future. I'm not reading the entrails of the beast. I am being Pythonic. I am being Vatic, and I'm being realistic. So listen carefully. When disaster hits, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall back on what you already prepared. Wildfires, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, blackouts, EMP and grid attacks, riots, disaster. Get it? And when the warning comes, there's no time to search for flashlights or bottled water or first aid supplies while your family waits at the door. That's why My Patriot Supply created the fully stocked bug out bag. You've got to get this. It's a rugged grab-and-go tactical backpack packed with 60 emergency essentials, including food, water, shelter, fire, starting tools, lighting, first aid, and more. Everything is already packed and ready right out of the box. Keep one in your car, your home, your RV, your office, your cabin, because the emergencies never make appointments. And right now, you can get $100 off plus free shipping for a limited time. So act now. There will be no special invitation in life. Disaster always comes unannounced. Get prepared now. Go to preparewithlionel.com. That's preparewithlionel.com and click the link today. All right, my friends, we are ready to go. And I'm telling you, I'm so glad. I'm so happy you could be with us. Seriously, thank you. Well, today apparently is the day. This is when it all drops. This is when I believe our good friend Sean Ryan is going to be dropping the interview on his, I think his subscription page, paywall, whatever you want to call it. And it is absolutely, positively incredible. 100% it is beautiful. And I want you to understand and grasp all of this. Listen very, 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 very carefully to this, all right? And listen to this. And by the way, I hope you realize what's going on. Because no matter how much you try to say, well, I don't know if that's important or not, I'm telling you, like you cannot believe, it is so monumentally critical. And it goes something like this. Listen very, very carefully, because today's the day.
Candace Owens, you're a political commentator, author, and independent journalist known for challenging mainstream narratives and tackling controversial issues. Over the past decade, you've become one of the most influential voices in all of media, building a massive audience through your commentary and investigative reporting.
And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband.
Today, through your independent platform, you continue to cover politics, culture, and current events while questioning official narratives and sparking national debate.
I always try to approach things with just, what do I observe with my own eyes? And when I brought myself to being able to watch the footage of Charlie dying, the first thing I thought was that he was shot from below. I watched the friction of his body, and I saw that his necklace broke before he was hit. I always thought that was so strange. I was like, somebody explain to me why if someone shot him from above, his necklace would break first and whip this way, and then he gets hit. What happened was we got exclusively the car photos, the car that transported Charlie to the hospital. When I saw the car pics, first thing I said was, oh, that's so weird. Like, well, why is there black glass on the floor?
Tyler Robinson is the name that, according to multiple sources, is the suspect who is in custody.
Who is Tyler Robinson? What the fuck was he doing there?
I don't think Tyler Robinson was there. I feel confident stating that Tyler Robinson did not kill Charlie Kirk. Family works, and that's the most, what are we conserving at the end of the day is the question. And to me, it's traditional families. I think that's our best guard against the government. I'm a grown adult woman. I know what I'm saying. And Dave Rubin was messaging me, and it's just full-blown gaslighting. And I stood firm on it and was like, no, I know what I wrote. And I meant every word of it.
Friday morning, the Daily Wire CEO, Jeremy Boring, posted on X, quote, Daily Wire and Candace Owens have ended their relationship.
One thing I wasn't expecting to hear today is a thank you to the Daily Wire from Candace Owens.
I owe them so much.
I can't believe the shit they pulled with Brett Cooper.
I don't like what Reagan did, but these were two young girls, and they were best friends, and there was just a maniacal homosexual man doing this because he wanted Brett to suffer. This was the biggest lie that Erika told me, and completely transformed my opinion of her.
Do you think that she had something to do with it, she was complicit, or do you think that, she just saw a paycheck?
Hey guys, it's Candace Owens. You can watch my episode with Sean Ryan on Vigilance Elite Patreon. The person that I think I placed stock in was Trump. And
gets good now. Gets good. Listen.
We got played. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It's kind of shocking the ways that he lied. And so you have to then go, why? Trump desperately, by any means necessary, wanted to win again. And his entire life's mission then transformed into, I will do anything to win again, including making a deal with the devil.
I hope you're paying attention to this. And I know there are folks right now who are just squirming. And I want you to notice one thing. Very, very critical. When Candace says something, she gives you a specific. She says, this is why. This is why I think so. Everybody else on whatever the other side is, they just call her satanic and demonic and evil. They don't ever tell you what it is that she says that's incorrect. I cannot tell you how important that is.
You don't take $300 million from people who run Vegas and tell them no about anything.
How much wealth has he amassed since he took this presidency?
The better question is, how much more do they need?
By the by, again, whether you like this or not, whether you are a MAGA person or not, what everybody is saying, what they're very, very concerned about is how much monies were amassed, fortunes were amassed, funds at a time when you were the president. Could this have been undue influence? Jared, Don Jr., again, you can dismiss it, and that's fine. But also understand that this is what's being said. And if you truly care about it, you'll listen.
Yet another controversy for Kanye West, also known as Ye. He's been locked out of his Twitter account now, the platform suspending him after an anti-Semitic tweet. That tweet said, quote, "When I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people."
Kanye, he notoriously tweeted that he was going to go DEFCON 3 on some Jewish people that had been toying with his life. And nobody cared when he dropped the actual text messages from his trainer, Charlie Pasternak, saying that he would put him back in the hospital and he'd never be able to see his kids again.
It does matter! It does matter! It does matter!
How do you want that you just said,
I have to finish the sentence.
It does matter!
It matters to us and you. It doesn't matter what the internet says.
He shared the message that Charlie Pasternak wrote to him, and he said, here's how it's going to go. Maybe he said, you're going to say sorry or something. And then the message reads, or we'll take you back to, I think he described it as La La Land, and play dates with your kids will never be the same. We'll drug you out of your minds.
Holy shit.
It's in writing. I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't there when he tweeted it. I wasn't with him. But because I was friends with him, this was like the cancellation of Kanye. They were putting pressure on me to make a statement about him. I refused to do it.
And that's, by the way, what they did with Tucker when they told Tucker to denounce her. See, I love loyalty. I love loyalty probably more than anything else. If you're my friend, you're my friend. And I'm not going to denounce you. They're not going to push me to say something. If you screwed up, if you made a mistake, okay, fine. But I'm never going to ever turn my back on somebody who's a friend or somebody who was there. That's the most important thing in the world. This is bigger than anything else. I hope you understand the complexity of this. It's for those who are just jumping into it now. This goes beyond anything anybody has seen. It's bigger than Kanye, bigger than MAGA, bigger than Trump, bigger than Candace, bigger than everything.
I lost millions of guaranteed dollars. And they basically were like, you could just say a statement about Kanye. Didn't do it.
Did you get fired or did you quit?
I got fired. The stage was built, remember? And it was a production. They put together a video.
15 minutes ago, the Daily Wire terminated its relationship with Candace Owens. Candace has been an incredibly powerful voice for conservatives for years. Unfortunately, it's become more and more clear, and it's now unavoidably so, that Candace has moved in a direction that the Daily Wire simply cannot and will not support.
This was, I cannot tell you how stupid it is to fire someone. You catch and kill. Have you heard this expression? Remember the woman who alleged that Trump had some type of an affair with her? She was a Playboy bunny along with Dusty Saddles, whatever her name is, Dirty Biscuits or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. The Chanteuse, the Strumpet, the Meretrix, the Botana, the Hua. What is her name? You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, a guy named Pecker, this guy David Pecker, of all names, he owned a National Enquirer. So what he did was he bought her story. Stormy Daniels, thank you. I can never get it right. Anyway, he bought her story, this girl from the Playboy, and then killed it. Bought it and killed it. They could have taken Candace. They could have said, we're not firing you. I mean, if you want to quit, you're going to be subject to our NDAs and everything else. But firing her is a whole nother story. So what they did was they released her and they infuriated her and they emboldened her and they made her even more dangerous. They're pissing off. There's an expression, and I hate to say it, but I'll never forget this. When I was first starting off, just graduated from college. I was working for a U.S. senator. There was this kind of a hard ass, kind of a guy, political type, and he said, "Don't fuck with a falcon unless you can fly." And I thought, wow, and that's it. And they just underestimated. They just thought that Candace was just this I don't know, little lady. So we'll fire her. It's the best thing that ever happened to her, and the worst thing that ever happened to you.
What scares me more is considering the world that our children will inherit if we stay quiet. And you have a bunch of people who, whether it's for money or for fear, are allowing it to happen. And there are so many historical lessons about what can happen to a country when good men do nothing.
There we go, my friends. Isn't that great? Isn't that fantastic? So somebody might still be asking, what's the big deal? Do you think this is what? Just some story about some gal? There is nobody. Second only to this might be, I think, on a different realm, it's Tucker and wanting a third party or wanting to absent himself from that which is prototypically MAGA. This is huge, my friend. This is huge. Now, let me explain something which is kind of sort of interesting, I think. There's a fellow named Predictive Historian. I don't know if you heard this, but this blows me away. This is a guy who talks about stock market. He talks about history. He's an Asian feller. You can understand him, but I'm sure you can make out to what he's saying. Listen to what he's saying.
So I've been thinking about this for the longest time. Because, Candace Owens had this public split from Ben Shapiro. And Candace Owens, I think, converted to Catholicism about a couple of years ago. Her husband, George Farmer, is a Catholic convert as well. So Candace Owens is by far the bravest media personality in the world. She's got balls, man. I mean, like,
no. First of all, you think to yourself, who's this guy? Well, this guy is very big. Predictive historian, I believe is really important. Very, 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 very serious. Talks about, again, subjects which, might be, I don't want to say heady, maybe more of an economic, realm or something, some particular ken, as it were. But he absolutely nails it 100%. He says it precisely.
The balls on her. I mean, it's just incredible how I don't even know how heavy her balls are, but she is fearless. And I ask myself how she does that, because I'm not fearless. I'm very cautious about what I say. The major difference between Candace Owens and myself is, like, I don't really name names because that's how you get in trouble, right? You don't go after one particular person because then that person has to come after you. So she's gone after Erika Kirk for a long time. Before that, she went after the Macrons, and like they try to sue her. So she went after a head of state, the head of state of France. So you ask yourself, what's going on here? And I'm going to make certain assumptions, okay? So in game theory, it's really important to make assumptions that you can validate against reality. So my assumption is that she is very close to the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church is the most powerful organization in the world. I'm not saying she's close to the Pope. I'm saying she's close to certain elements within the Catholic Church that have their own agenda. And these might be Jesuits. This might be a certain section.
Let me stop right there. It's very the point that I'm trying to say, the reason why is, of all the people are noticing her. So we're going to go back to the people who've said to me, very, very simply, why are you talking about her? And by the way, just do me a favor. I'm going to say this one time. For those, I've been thinking about, I've been talking about this thing about moderation. We've been very good. And we get some trolls every now and then. I don't want things to become to the point where people, I don't want to give people too much power to just eliminate people forever and ever. But do me a favor. If there is somebody as I speak that you should maybe make me aware of, just let me know in real time. I'll take care of it. Not somebody who might be, controversial, but somebody who's just a jerk. Let's make this real troll unfriendly. I don't want to get moderators because frankly, I don't know. Sometimes people go to their head and they start cutting people off. No. So just let me know. Just let me know. Just like point somebody out. There he is. There he is. Remember the Lorraine Hotel when James Earl Ray, when they pointed, do a Sophie Cunningham. Just point him out. That's all. In any event, my friend, do you see where we're going with this? Do you see where we're going? Do you see how big this is? That's the part which I find so fascinating. Right now, as we speak, there are arrangements being made at Madison Square Garden for the Taylor Swift wedding, and it's disgusting. I mean, they're rolling in trucks. It's just horrible. It's to make a marriage, maybe since Tiny Tim on Johnny Carson. Remember that Tiny Tim and Miss Vicky? Remember these phony baloney weddings? Remember when the Moonies, remember when the Moonies, I think they all married at Madison Square Garden, the Moonies. Do you know years later, they were still together? They were still together, which I find fascinating. Fascinating. And I know people say, could anyone care any less about them wedding at MSG? You do know that we care a little about it. But what I'm saying is, and people are able to think whatever they want, and just like the World Cup. The World Cup to me is, I know people like it, but this is, it's not for me. But people do find it interesting. And it's one of those things which I find fascinating. So what I'm saying is, there's a lot for everybody. This is bigger, in my view, than what most people can even understand. They can't grasp it. It's huge. Also, it is bigger than they don't seem to really understand it. They don't seem to get it, because this is also not just Candace. We'll get to this in a moment. There is a movement. There is a movement, and it involves, for the first time, I've never heard the word Zionism mentioned so much in my life. Understand what I'm saying? I've never, ever, ever, ever heard it. There is a huge change, and it's not just about Israel or AIPAC. It's a reconditioning. There was a woman in Colorado. She I forget her name, in the Denver area, congresswoman, absolutely had 100% liberal progressive credentials. I mean, voted. She's been around so long. She voted against the Iraq War. She thought she was solid. So she hooks up with AIPAC, gets $1 million+ buck. AIPAC tracker got her on that. So here comes this woman, young, a real rabble rouser. You know what I mean? A real rabble rouser. And she's absolutely fantastic. And what's so interesting is that she comes along. I'll give you an example. She comes along and she decides to run, this newcomer. And she was told by her law firm, take down this article you wrote, this letter, where you said that something about, or you were in support of people who were speaking out against genocide or whatever it is. Okay. Make a long story short, this woman who was in Congress forever lost by it was a drubbing by this young, kind of a quasi-socialist who had one issue and one issue really only. And that is Israel. This is bigger than anything. Now, I know some folks have a hard time with this, but I'm going to tell you what is important and what is not. Candace is important because it's grassroots, and I've never seen anything like this. It's just, it's like crowdsourced. It's completely different. That's number one. Number two, by virtue of the multiplicity of her platforms, she is bringing this. We're going to talk about Theo Vaughn coming up as well. This is brand new. This is happening right now, and maybe a lot of people don't realize it, and a lot of folks don't grab it. But this is the thing which is so important to. I'm telling you, it's not just Candace; it's everything. Now, let me give you an example of something else which is terrific. I find this great. There is something that is happening as well, and it is this thing. Another one, and Candace talks about it as well. She's a personification of this. For the longest time, I never really got into this stuff about evil. And I said, evil to me is like saying bad, or this is what I thought then. Criminal, wrong. We got to go after the wrong. It's like, okay, but evil is this word. Evil. They're evil. We've got to get to the bottom of evil. Then they're saying Candace is evil, and she's satanic and Luciferian, and she's evil. Evil. It's the theme. Pay attention to the theme. Watch the new waves, the new trends. Focus. Listen to what people are saying. Listen to what people are wearing. Look for everything. Look at new clothing, new attitudes, new expressions. Pay attention. There's this thing called evil. Now, for the longest time, Mel Gibson was considered to be kind of this drunk and this anti-Semite. Remember when he referred to he was drunk? Some woman pulled him over. She said, "Listen, sugar tits." Which I'll never forget. But apparently she might have had a Jewish name, or she was Jewish. And he said something like, "Are you Jewish?" Now, his father, Hutton, hear me out. Hutton Gibson, they are Orthodox Catholics. Do you know what that is? No. These are hardcore. These are people who hate. Vatican II. They couldn't stand when Roncalli, John the 23rd, took out the perfidy of the Jews reference because they wanted to blame flat out. They said this wasn't Pontius Pilate. It was the Jews, Caiaphas. And anyway, I don't want to get too much into that, but he was hardcore. And they said, "You're an anti-Semite, you're an anti-Semite, you're an anti-Semite, you're a drunk, you're an anti-Semite," and nobody's listening to you. Nobody's listening to you, okay? Now listen to this. I want you to listen to old Mr. Mel Gibson now. Watch his eyes. He has in him he's about to explode. And he has these eyes. Watch the way he looks. Watch. They're fascinating. And there's this old line from SCTV that says, "Sure, he's crazy, but what if he's right?" Well, that's what I say about Mel. Yeah, he might be kind of crazy. He might be whatever. But let me tell you something. This is a different story. Listen to him.
Realms of good and evil, and
watch
they
his
exist.
eyes.
They're as real as we are. Why are these realms slugging it out for the souls, the hearts and souls of mankind? Why are we the meat in that sandwich? Mm-hmm. Little old us, flawed us, imperfect us. Why is that about us? And I'm trying to answer that question. I don't know if I can. I've attempted, and maybe with God's help and with image and with sound and music, we can deliver on some answers to some of those massive questions, these existential questions.
Do you hear what's happening? If you don't hear what's happening, you're not paying attention. And I'm not asking you to agree with him. People always say, "Well, he's crazy." I'm not asking you to say anything about him. I don't want you to be, and I mean this, I don't want you to, and this is very, very important, I don't want you to be thrown off. I don't want you to worry about what he said. Listen to where we're going and pay attention, because then you'll understand. Then politics will make a lot more sense to you. And that's why what Tucker is saying is so critical. They're missing the point. We are in the midst of a revolution right now. And I can't say this enough. And we're starting to see things, people who are coming forward. By the way, I want to really hats off to Jimmy Dore and the great Richard Gage and everybody from architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth. 25th anniversary is coming up. Things are changing. One of the most important voices now, who I'm not proud to say this, she used to annoy the living shit out of me, is Anna Kasparian. She and Junk, I call them Junk Yogurt, would just absolutely scream and yell with this leftist, I hate it, whatever. Remember when Alex Jones and Roger Stone approached him? He went berserk, screaming and yelling. I said, who are these people? Now, by virtue of what people are calling genocide and ethnic cleansing and the like, it's changing. And Trump is stuck in the middle. He says, what do I do? And I'm telling you, listen to what I'm saying. Midterms and also in the general, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to ask you, this is the most important. They're going to be saying, what do you take? What is your take? Do you abnegate AIPAC and Zionism? This is for the first time. Whether you like it or not, agree with it, nobody's asking you. It's like you not liking the Beatles. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you like. This is what's happening. I can't put it into words. It's incredible. Let me also tell you, we are having these people who are coming across. One of them is Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn is the sleeper. This is a guy that he's almost Gomer Pyle. Gomer Pyle he always won. He was the good one. He was like the Christ figure. He was always sweet and kind and good and joyous. And he was just a regular person. And he wasn't at all evil and conniving like Carter and others. He was just a great guy. In the Marine, during Vietnam, and they never left Camp Pendleton. In any event, that's the story. That's Theo. You laugh at him and think, oh, golly and Shazam and everything. And then you listen to him and think, wait a minute. And now all of a sudden, these people, who hasn't been on his show? He has the best people on his show. Trump. And now this guy, John Kennedy, this foghorn, leghorn, podunk, rusticator, kind of a Hooterville, bug tussle, hee-haw, yee-haw. This, this barnyard philosopher who talks like this and says, you got to see his bottom lip. I can't do it because my beard. He does it. Did you ever see Jeff Bridges? I think Jeff Bridges was Jeff Bridges on with Theo? I don't know. Jeff Bridges has a thing that. Steve Bolin says, time to dust off those old tapes of Malachi Martin when he was on ABC radio. There you go. Thank you, my friend. Now, John Kennedy, the senator, says nothing. He tells these stories wondering, where the fuck is this guy going? I had a dog one time. It was a coon dog named Toby. And I loved Toby. Toby went underneath the porch one time and I couldn't find Toby. And I said, Mama, you have 2 minutes. I know. Mama, where's Toby? Where's Toby? And I looked for that coon dog. One day I realized Kobe had died. And as far as I was concerned, I'm sorry, your time is up. Well, I'm sorry. I yield. I said, where did we go with Toby? He says nothing. He said he just loves to hear himself talk. He thinks he's so whimsical. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't stand for shit. He's one of these meaningless, vapid conservatives who say nothing, who stand for nothing. They're king of the obvious, like Piers Morgan, or Piers Brosnan too. Anyway, watch this. This one, now pay attention, because old Theo, nobody understands what he's doing.
Point of view. Tucker will have a different point of view.
Yeah.
He thinks that we're too close to Israel.
I think a lot of people, from people that I see all the time.
Now watch this. Now watch what he does. Watch how he says, now what I see. Now when he says, he's like, not me, mind you, but people I see. And watch old John Kennedy just say, I don't know.
That's the number one thing that people say. They think we're too close to a country that's created a genocide against Palestine, and then is like in conflict with these other people around them. That it seems like they're just like kind of the bullies of the area. You know, it's like it feels like they're the terrorist organization. That's what it seems like to a lot of people.
To a lot of people, not me, mind you, not me. What do you say to all the detractors who call you a horse's ass? What do you say? Oh, not me. But what do you say to those people? Who calls me that? Well, that's just the people. We know what you're saying, Theo. And he's right. Now watch this. Right now he is puckering up like you can't even imagine.
A lot of people believe that. Hamas attacked Israel.
Now, we still doing this October the 7th, 2023. We're doing this, all right? They're still negating. You're right about that. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can say the proportionality, wiping out Gaza because of that, and not only that, the Hannibal Directive, and I don't want to. Anyway, he's repeating. He knows the trope. Okay, listen.
And the Israelis fight back.
They fight back, and who helps them fight back? Okay, fine. Now watch Theo. He's listening.
And they took over the Gaza Strip.
Took over? They took over? They decimated it. This is what some people say. See, this is what some people say. They decimated it. They destroyed it. I mean, they took, you see what he's doing? Now, I'm just saying, pay attention.
And yes, a lot of Palestinians got hurt.
Palestinians were hurt. Did you see the pictures of these? This one, this is the one that kills me. And I've seen so many murder pictures, dead pictures, you can't imagine. When I see a little child, 5 years old, in her little dress, gray from the pyroclastic dust of this atomized concrete, covered in dust, limp like a rag doll, being handed down like wood, like cords of wood, stacked up in the back. I'll never forget, in the back of an ambulance. Hurt? That was necessary? And then they give the old, well, it was a human shield. Now listen, just do me a favor, all right? Let's just do a favor. Let's just be honest. Let's stop saying this stuff. Some of it applies. Believe me, there's a lot to be said. Not everybody is 100%, innocent, whatever that means. But when you talk about something, when you have what has been called by the ICC, the ICG, and everybody else, basically genocide, ethnic cleansing and apartheid, and he says they've been hurt,
and
not got hurt. I mean, got killed.
Got killed and hurt, and but Hamas would hold the Gazans hostage. They would put them out front.
But how do we even know that? They killed 220
because
something.
We've seen it.
But they killed 220 something journalists. That
see, this is where Theo he recognizes the fact that this is the rote. This is the rote. This is the memorized. This is the packaged. And you could argue it's not necessarily wrong, but he knows with all the time that has elapsed, you think they would have a new routine.
Went there to document what was going on.
There's no question there have been civilian deaths.
They wouldn't.
Civilian deaths. He's missing the point. The only people who go in there were people who were approved by the IDF, and there were children who were hit by snipers and two-tap methods. See, this is where, you know what? Here's my thing. I wish John Kennedy would have said, listen, can I just say something to you, Theo? Yeah, I'm gonna bullshit you. So let's talk about something else. Don't make me say something I'm gonna have to be talking to my grandkids about. Don't say something on this show, lure me in to have you think you're some stupid podunk, dope-smoking, redneck, tailor trash, Walmart greeting, goat roping, shit-kicking dumbass. Don't lure me into this. Don't put me into the position where I'm going to say something stupid like I just did. People hurt. Hell, it sounds like an accident. Sounds more like a 3-car pileup on Route 4. I'm just not going to talk about this. Theo, do you mind? Do you mind for my own self-worth, my own self-respect? Because I'm going to end up just talking this bullshit that just, hell, I've been handed, it don't make no sense anymore. So would you mind? He won't do that.
Didn't let journalists in to even document what was happening
there. Have been civilian deaths, but it is primarily the fault. I'm not saying Israel is blameless. Look, war is ugly.
Yeah, but is this war?
But it is war.
You think it's war?
It is war.
They just had an article yesterday that came out from the UN. If here's some findings of the commission, Israel has killed 20,000 children and injured 44,000 more since October 7th, 2023. Let me see. Palestinian children have been arrested and subjected to torture and other severe forms of mistreatment in Israeli prisons.
They're even talking about being attacked sexually by dogs. How in the hell do you get attacked? I can't say the R word. You know what I mean? The R word rhymes with grape. Well, how can a dog grape you? Unless it's a big old dog. How can you be graped by a dog? Brasileira Mia says, in my opinion, politicians who support AIPAC, including much of our government and President Trump, don't deserve our vote. Americans are tired of the 15-year the Israeli regime pimping us into wars. Thank you. Is she wrong with that? Is she wrong? Now, if you think she's wrong, well, she's not. But if you think she's wrong, guess what? You're going to lose. Now, the same people who said this, who all of a sudden said what you're saying, what I'm saying about Ukraine, that was okay. Well, that's different now. But this is bullshit. And what happens is they get into a pattern, and they're so used to it they can't get out of it. I'm telling you, this is human nature. Let me explain something to you. If you've ever wondered how during Nazi Germany did so many innocent people or good people allow this shit to happen, this is why. Because they were told a line of garbage too. They were just told this, and they repeated it. And you can go on Fox News and hear John Kennedy. And people will say, And pretty soon you'll say, well, maybe it is like that. I learned that during 9/11. I saw 3 buildings go down in their footprint at free fall speeds, and it wasn't jet fuel. Come on. And I realized this. I just understand it. I just understand how these things work.
This is all part of, let me see, United Nations.
God bless you, Theo.
Well, first, I wouldn't believe it if it came from the UN.
That's right. Everything. You're right about that. And that's very popular. That's very popular. All right. Very popular. Unless the UN says something we like. Then they're okay.
Oh, really? They're not. Do you feel like they're not liable?
They're not. They're not objective.
Sorry, reliable.
They're not objective.
Okay.
They're not objective.
Well,
number
that's the thing.
two.
It's tough.
Number two.
Well, forget the UN. How about the various? Listen to what many people are saying, and there's many organizations. Look, I'm not here to argue that part. Just listen.
And I know children got killed, and it breaks your heart.
It breaks your heart, like it's an accident, like it's a Ferris wheel that broke down. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, did they hurt? Oh, I hate when
Hamas kills children too. So
Hamas. You think this is Hamas? Anyway, this is I just
does Hezbollah. So does Iran.
This guy doesn't even know what he did. This is the best part. You dumbass, you were on this show and you thought that Theo is going to be the next. You mark my words. This guy. Remember, Ronald Reagan was bedtime for Bonzo. Ronald Reagan was just a. Let me tell you something. When he and Nancy were young, and don't you think they might have been a little, shall I say, experimental in the bedroom? You know what I mean, all right? So they laughed at him. They laughed at, oh God, Harry Truman, bless his heart, this nearsighted haberdasher. You understand this? You understand this? This is something which is absolutely important. This absolutely. Now. I want to bring you another one too. Here's another one too. For some reason, I love you. I love you to death and I think you're great. But if you're not any good and you're not going to help my side, I'm going to pull you out. Who was it who said, hey, that Lara Trump, she's good. Listen to old Lara. They pronounce it Laura, but it's Lara. Go figure.
Who seem to have started peddling very crazy ideas out there, like that Donald Trump is a puppet of, Israel, and that he's only doing the things he's doing to benefit Israel.
Stop for a second. Just let that sink in. That Donald Trump on his own said, when I get involved, I'm going to show that goddamn Iran. I'm going to show you Ayatollah mother. I'm going to show you who's boss. Now with the MOU, they're handing everything back to Iran. Iran's bigger than they ever were. Just one more time. She actually said this with a straight face.
There have been a lot of these at one time very influential people who were huge Trump supporters.
At one time influential, not anymore.
Who were very strong in terms of their support for, the conservative movement.
The conservative movement. You think Ronald Reagan would be doing this? I don't think so.
MAGA, all of it, who seem to have started peddling very crazy ideas.
Listen to this. Crazy
is out there, like that Donald Trump is a puppet of, Israel, and that he's only doing the things he's doing to benefit Israel and Netanyahu. It's crazy stuff. I can promise everyone out there is only one goal in mind at the end of the day for this president. It is the best thing possible for the United States of America, period. End of story. But this sort of thing, where now we're a couple months away from midterm elections and you have someone like Tucker Carlson saying he's not voting for the Republicans in, the House and Senate race.
This is what I'm saying. President Trump, now if you're going to tell her, I'm going to tell her. I'm going to say, honey, I'll tell you what. If this is bullshit, and you don't mean a word you're saying, I kind of admire you. I do. But if you do believe this, you're crazy. You're just crazy. And crazy, I can't do anything crazy. Stupid, I kind of work around with it. Crazy, I don't know what's going on. Now, understand something. I don't give a shit whether you like this or not. This is reality. Okay? This is a reality. Don't care. There was a time during the civil rights movement where they told a lot of the you better understand something. There's a whole bunch of people out there who don't like the way black folks are being treated and Jim Crow, and you better get with the program. And I don't give a diddly damn what you think. That's the way it is. You got it? There was a time during the Vietnam War when people said, I don't give a damn how you fought in Vietnam or in World War II or what you did. These people are through. And if you vote for it, ask Lyndon Johnson. They said, you're going to lose this. And he said, well, I can't be the first president to lose a war. He said, you did lose a war. There are realities that hit you. And you can laugh all you want. You might be an atheist, but if you think that you ever are going to work well in politics in this country, maybe not now, with certain factions, and you're an atheist, or what I'm saying is, this is reality. DJT is not a puppet. He's a debtor. Okay. Well, he better be very, very careful, because I loved him when he first came. I'm telling you, I don't recognize what's going on. I don't. I told you that in 2020. People got all pissed off, but I was right. And I'm never going to be somebody who just says, well, I've committed myself to the cause. I don't have a cause. I don't have a party. Common sense is my party. Let me show you how bad it is. There was a woman named Ketanji Brown Jackson. Remember this. We had this thing recently about the birthright. The birthright case is pretty boring. It's not what you think. You might have to deal with that one in Congress, not the Constitution. The Constitution is pretty straightforward on that. Sorry. I mean, you can argue one way. You can argue the Clarence Thomas argument. You can go the Alito argument. Anyway. But recently there was a move where I think the court 6-3 said that a state can prohibit men or biological men from appearing in various sporting events. Let me remind you of this Ketanji Brown Jackson when she couldn't even define what a woman was.
For the word woman.
Can I provide a definition? No.
Yeah.
I can't.
Some issues, some matters, some areas should be handled in this way by nonpartisan experts. That Congress is saying that expertise matters. Expertise matters.
Expertise in what a woman is. So this is where we are. Now, I would tell the Democrats, if you think that this makes sense, and you're going to try this out on the American people, and you think you're going to get to first base with that one, you're out of your mind. We have had it with this. Had it. And one more thing I'm going to show you. We are seeing people who are doing the most incredible crowdsourcing I've ever seen. You don't know what's happening. If somebody said something Erika doesn't realize what she says. On Tuesday, I took Gigi to the mall for ballet. Somebody's going to say, nope, I got the mall right here. There is no mall. The mall closed. No ballet. You're making a man. It wasn't Tuesday. It was Wednesday. Why are you a liar? I say, why does she do this? There are people waiting to jump on this. And of course, Barron and others are there. And what did the other side have? Nothing. They got the big debater. Have you seen the debater? I'm just a debater. Doesn't know any, doesn't say anything. He just debates. He debates people who are intellectually his inferior. But anyway, watch this young lady right now and watch how great this is. Watch.
Did its thing and took the license plate from the back of the SUV that transported Charlie Kirk to the hospital and found the VIN number and pulled the Carfax report, which tells us that this vehicle was first purchased in Utah on February 5th, 2025, just a few months before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And that date, February 5th, just sounded so familiar to me. And then it dawned on me, that is the exact date that the Utah FBI field office appointed their new director. Now tell me, what are the odds of that? Especially since a GMC Yukon Denali is commonly used as an FBI vehicle at the local field offices. After the SUV was used to transport Charlie Kirk to the hospital, the captain's seats were removed and parts of the floorboard were stripped. Now, people are wondering why the SUV wasn't admitted as evidence, but as this person puts it, the SUV wasn't used in a crime, so there's no evidence in it. So then why not just get the car detailed? Why go to this length? The vehicle was then run through a car auction and purchased by its second owner to someone who lives in California. Now, somebody very, very close to me is in the auction car business and told me that is very odd to auction a car to somebody in California versus Utah where the car was, because the transportation fee would be astronomical. But it crossed state lines and then was inspected by Jessup Auto Plaza. The owner of that dealership just happens to be a retired United States Air Force captain. Now, there's a lot of weird things going on with this Denali, including the license plate that has the number 33 in it. What I want to know is who first purchased this vehicle in Utah in February? And why was it stripped down and auctioned off to an owner in a different state? As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
Isn't that incredible? Isn't that absolutely incredible? Now, don't you love the fact that there are people who are willing to do this, who are willing to spend so much time? This is the most important, who can sit there and do this. You can't get, they're incredible. They're just incredible. So what I'm saying to you and to everybody else, my friend, is very simply this. We are in the middle of a revolution. Everything that's happened, it's just completely, it's over with. One day when the president realized, somebody has told him, Mr. President, you've got to disconnect with either AIPAC or Netanyahu. I'm telling you, you're killing. Nobody is for this. Nobody. I really don't know what to say. I don't know what to say anymore. It is so obvious to me. And then it's not about you having to explain what you feel. And the anti-Semite trope is bullshit. The same thing that happens, the same way that people think regarding Ukraine, which is nonsense. We would say, what are we doing? Why are we giving this idiot all this money? The Charlie case is very interesting. You can say that again, Raul. It is brilliantly complex. But this, thank you, by the way. The only thing is, which is the most important thing, which is so critical, is everything that we said regarding Ukraine, people should be saying now. It's unreal. So let's see what happens, my friend. We will see. Remember, when you bring this up, you will be called everything in the world. You'll be called, oh, McBride says, I love that the YouTube sleuths are out in full force. Absolutely. The gumshoes, without a doubt. And what are the others? What are the Neffs and the Tourette's and all these other people and the debater and the J? They just sit around and say Candace is crazy and, oh, look at the body language. They have nothing. Tell me where she's wrong. They honestly think this does it? No. By the way, it emboldens her. Do you know why the doctor always tells you, make sure when you get your antibiotic, you finish it? You ever hear that? And the reason why is if you stop taking the antibiotics because you're feeling okay, you haven't really killed the bug yet. You're going to leave the bug a little bit weakened, but it comes back stronger and resistant to the antibiotics. That's why you want to kill it. That's why when you're if you're boxing, you want to knock the guy out. You don't want to wound him. You want to knock him out. That's why when you're a policeman, you want to shoot to kill. You don't want to wound, wing, inconvenience, or what have you. So what they do is they go out and they just kind of tap, Candace like this, and it doesn't do anything. It just makes her stronger. It makes her. They haven't laid a glove on her. Nothing. They don't have anything. Find one person. When we meet again tonight, later on, I don't know, by the way, make sure you You sign up so you know when. But when we find out who are the people that she really hurts, or that rather that let me rephrase that, people who have had enough of the facts, or at least a countervailing argument or theory that rebuts what she's saying, and maybe might make her say, like, nobody. They don't do it. She's talking about Fort Huachuca, about this, about tail numbers. She's talking about every LLC and every corporation that Laurie Franz was involved in. Levels of complexity you can't even imagine. And that's precisely what's going on right now. This is like nothing we've ever seen. So my friend, I thank you. Please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Please make sure you're subscribed here. Make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos, because that's when it might be 6, might be 7, might be 8. Who knows? Well, we're going to be doing this. And I think today, later on, I'm going to be doing Christine Feckery at, I think, 5 p.m. Eastern time on her live. And she is so mondo, a style all her own. Nobody does it like she does. So that's coming up today. All right, my friend, I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the awareness. Thank you. And thank you for your good, great, and gracious behavior. That's all I want to do, is I want to get the truth out. And I want to do it in a hospitable, amiable, tough. We can be aggressive, but not mean and not discourteous. All right, my friends, I love you. And don't forget, monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue ya. Dad.